Hello, Tom Levecki here with the New Theory podcast. And today we have a very special guest by the name of Sean Browne. Sean is the expert of the very author of the very loving Caterpillar, which appears on Amazon in digital and paperback format. Sean, how you doing today?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. What's up?
All right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where you're from? Where did you grow up?
Yeah, so I was actually born in Opelousas, Louisiana. But then when I was 3 months old, my parents moved to Antigua and Barbuda in the Caribbean. So that's where I grew up. Uh, then I went to college in Baton, Louisiana, and I graduated in 2007. Went back to Antigua for about 5 years. Then in 2013, I moved to Durham, North Carolina. So I've been there since then. But I actually went back to Antigua last year, June. So I was there for that. Um, yeah, so I'm Durham, North Carolina, right? It's working on various projects, progressive, you know.
Okay, you're breaking up. You're breaking up a little bit. So try
Oh,
to
really?
speak a little closer to the mic, but it should be
Okay.
fine. All right. So as we moved around, tell us about why you wrote a children's book. Let's get right to it. You wrote a children's book. Why?
Yeah, I, well, I had the idea for a butterfly story, the monarch, because those are just interesting creatures. So I had the story in my mind, just brewing, ruminating, because I was just thinking about it as an animated film, because there are no animated films about butterflies and caterpillars really. So that's very interesting when butterflies and caterpillars are pretty much the most popular amongst children and even adults. So it was last year, the end of last year, I was talking to my friend and editor, Shayna Adams, and she just said, you should write the story. Because we were talking about, I think, some other things, and the book idea came up, and she said, "Yeah, just write the story." So I just said, "Yes, I'll write it at that moment," and then I started writing it. Went through the whole create space process to get it formatted and everything and ready for publication, and that's how it went.
All right. So many people talk about writing a book, but you actually went through the effort of doing it.
Yeah.
So did you do it with the intention of writing a book, get your idea out there, and kind of leaving it at that as an accomplishment, maybe more of a hobby? Or is this a bit more of a professional endeavor that you might want to expand into other books, a franchise, and even maybe movies?
Well, yeah, all those things are in my mind because, yeah, I'm an entrepreneur and have been studying business for the past 9, 10 years. So I know about business, and that's just in my mind. So that's just going to be the logical next step of anything I'm doing, which is, to sort of make money and keep it branching out into new and other ventures. So
Okay, so hold on. Okay, so you wrote the book. You want to hopefully grow it into a franchise or do other stuff, right? We all want to do that when we write our books, right?
right, right.
So when did the book launch?
Yeah, I released it March 15th of this year.
Okay, so March 15th, Ides of March. Now, do you know how many books you approximately sold so far?
Several hundred so
Okay,
far. Yeah,
several hundred is actually pretty good.
right.
Like we talked about this in the past because we have authors on. The average book you're self-published, correct? Because you mentioned CreateSpace. you're
Yeah.
self-published, right? Is 150. So let's say you sold 300. That's actually double of what the norm is for self-published. So congratulations there. Now, what are you doing to market the book? Like, you're on a podcast now? You have a website. What are you doing to market the book in order to really drive sales?
Right. Yeah. And right now, since I'm just trying out all sorts of things right now. So yeah, I've been doing a few blog podcast interviews. I did a reading in Antigua at a preschool. I've talked to the bookstores there in Antigua. I'm in a Facebook group that's for children's book authors, and just learning, and various opportunities pop up in those groups. For example, independent bookstores. What else? I got in a review. I I got the main character, changed into a stuffed doll. So I'll be doing things with that. Get that expanded. I'm looking into the Facebook ads.
All right,
Looking
so right now it's tactical, right? So you talk to a few
right.
bookstores, you're gonna experiment some ads. You have some
Yeah.
marketing collateral on with a stuffed animal, or again some additional stuff. That all makes sense, right? So
Right.
what is the crust of the story? I'm assuming it's not necessarily about a caterpillar. What is the lesson learned for those kids and or parents who want your book?
Right. So, well, the title sort of gives it away, basically. The very loving. So, I'm talking about, well, the book is about a compassionate caterpillar who has to save his family from the tropical environment that once nurtured them. So, I'm sort of showing various things in the book about the environment, taking care of the environment, taking care of each other as one collective unit, one family, staying in harmony, just along those lines. Love, the real love, which is unconditional love, which is just the regular love. So that's the main stuff I'm sort of presenting in the book.
All right. So it's I think, what do they call it? An allegory or a message of a very loving caterpillar who will save or work to save their family, which is really nice. I got to give you credit, man, because like, again, I talk to people all the time, and everybody intends to write a book, but you actually went through the effort of doing it. So those people that listen to the New Theory podcast are mostly millennials and
Right.
either somewhat successful or at least aspirational and want to get there. So let's talk about some logistics of writing a book. Did you write it yourself and then get it edited, or did you have somebody ghostwrite for you?
Yeah, I wrote it myself. Like I said, I had the story has been ruminating for about a year or so. So the day when my friend and the editor Shane Adams just said I should write, I just at that moment I just decided right there to just start writing. So I started, brainstorming, writing down all the things that were already in my mind, putting them out on the paper just to see them, and started, formatting the actual story. Each page I did it like that. Each like basically one paragraph per picture page of the book, and it took me about a week or two to actually get that all the story structure and everything all how I wanted it in a nice finished way.
Okay,
Then
so
yeah.
all right, so you wrote the book. Now, I'm going to ask you some direct questions because I want our people to learn who are looking to write the book. Now, you have an illustrator and editor. Now, obviously, you mentioned I believe they're friends, right? Did you work out a flat rate for their work, or do they get a percentage of sales? Or for somebody who's looking to write a book and is willing to write it but needs an illustrator, needs an editor, what type of deal did you work out?
Yeah. Well, actually, I found an illustrator on Fiverr because Fiverr is a good service for finding many
Okay.
things you may need
Okay.
done. So I found Well, I looked around at different illustrators, talked to some. One guy was busy, so I talked to another. And this girl, the illustrator I worked with, Don Trang, she's in Vietnam. So I talked to her. She said she wanted to do a test drawing to make sure I'm comfortable. So she did that, and I was pretty pleased with the test drawing. So we went ahead and started. So I worked with her.
Okay, so you found somebody in Five Bar, and then I'm assuming you worked out a fair rate there. And your editor, does she get a percentage of sales? Does she get a flat rate? Does she do it as a favor for credit? What was the arrangement there?
Yeah, so yeah, she's a good friend. So yeah, we did. There was no real payment for the editing. She
Okay,
just
so you worked it out as friends, right? For those
right.
people that are listening, if you find an editor, I think his book is 28 pages. There's resources like Upwork and so forth where you could find a good editor. You can expect to pay $5 to $10 a page, sometimes more. Obviously, if you have a 300 page book, you can work at a flat rate. So to produce a book is going to be your time, and you're probably looking at $1,000 to $2,000 an effort, and then you got to price your book. So you price your book at what, $3 for Kindle,
Yeah,
and
three
te-
two ninety nine.
and $9.99 for paperback. Where are most of your books sold? What percentage is Kindle and what percentage is paperback?
Yeah, majority is the Kindle. That's where basically pretty much all the sales have been so far, and a
Okay.
few paperback. So,
Okay, so mostly Kindle, mostly a digital strategy.
yeah.
All right. So what do you have up? What do you have up and coming? Do you have any things planned? Any promotional events, or what are some of the stuff that you can tell our listeners about that you have upcoming for the lovely caterpillar?
Well, one main one we're looking into right now is actually animating the book, just animating the actual each page of the book, so it's in a little animated format. So we're working on that right now, looking at different animators, and we're planning a book, like tour through the different schools, primary schools, preschools, signings at the local libraries here, stuff like that for
Oh,
right now.
okay, so you have some stuff in the queue, right? You're looking into maybe
Yeah.
expanding on the media itself and then maybe a tour. What I'll do is I'll provide a link to your book on Amazon for
Yeah.
both the Kindle and paperback form. And how can our listeners find you?
Yeah, just if you just do the search on Amazon, it will pop up now. The very loving caterpillar on Amazon, and it will pop up. And you can just follow us on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/the very loving caterpillar, and stay up to date there, and also find links to the book there.
Okay, beautiful. Any parting words before we conclude today?
Just, just actually read the book and actually like read it thoroughly. Don't just think, oh, it's a little children's book. I can just read this one time and that's it. It's actually you can continue to read it with your children and actually keep learning and studying it. So just stay loving, and that's what I have to say.
Nice, Sean. Well, listen, Sean Browne, author of The Loving Caterpillar, will gladly supply a link to the book on Amazon. And Sean, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, thanks for the interview.